£117 million for Morgan Rogers. Just 2 years ago, he was struggling to establish himself after leaving Manchester City and playing in the Championship. So has Rogers really become worth that kind of money, or has Chelsea just paid an outrageous premium for a player who might become a superstar? To answer that, we have to rewind to where nobody was watching, Middlesbrough. To understand the explosion, you've got to go back to where it all started. HALESOWEN, just outside Birmingham, Morgan Rogers wasn't built in a sleek, multi-million-pound European talent factory. He was forged in the grassroots mud of the West Midlands, stepping through the doors of West Bromwich Albion's academy as a kid with raw, unpolished power. By 2019, the vultures were circling. Manchester City, always hunting for the shiniest toys in the sweet shop, swooped in and brought him up to the Etihad. Now, if you're a teenage prospect joining Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, you're essentially stepping onto a treadmill moving at 80 miles an hour. In 2020, Rogers did his bit, starring alongside his close mate Cole Palmer to lift the FA Youth Cup. They were the golden boys of the youth setup, tipped for greatness, except here's the brutal reality of modern football. The Etihad graveyard is littered with brilliant academy kids who never saw a Premier League minute because Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva were standing in their way. While Cole Palmer eventually took the scenic route to superstardom, Rogers took the hard road. Lincoln City, Bournemouth, Blackpool, loan spells in the EFL where nobody cares about your Man City pedigree. They only care if you can win a header against a 6'4" centre-back named Dave, who hasn't seen a clean sheet since 2012. By the summer of 2023, City decided they'd seen enough. They sold him permanently to Middlesbrough. To the casual observer, it looked like the classic tale of another academy prospect washing out of the elite tier. But as we're about to find out, Middlesbrough wasn't a demotion. It was a laboratory. Never look at a championship stint as a failure. Look at it as a pressure test. At Middlesbrough under Michael Carrick, Rogers wasn't coddled. He was thrown into the physical meat grinder of English second-tier football. And something fascinating started to happen. Most young wingers coming out of Premier League academies are conditioned to play like little tippy-tappy robots. Safe sideways passes, obsessed with possession retention, terrified of losing the ball. Rogers was different. When he picked up the ball deep in his own half, he didn't look for a 5-yard out. He tucked the ball under his arm, metaphorically speaking, and went on a rampage. He was tall, rangy, deceptively quick, and possessed that rare, terrifying ability to carry the ball 50 yards up the pitch, while 3 opposition midfielders bounced off his shoulders like pinballs. He wasn't a polished diamond yet. He was more like a runaway freight train with the steering wheel loose. But scouts from top-flight clubs with an eye for data aren't looking at the finished product. They're looking at the ceiling. And down in the West Midlands, one particular Basque manager was watching very closely. January 2024, Aston Villa shell out an initial £8 million, rising to roughly £15 million with add-ons to bring Rogers to Villa Park. At the time, even some Villa fans scratched their heads. We're fighting for the Champions League, and we're signing a kid from Borough? Enter Unai Emery. Emery is football's ultimate football nerd. A tactical obsessive who looks at a player and doesn't just see what they are, he sees what they could be if you put them in a particle accelerator. Emery didn't try to turn Morgan Rogers into a delicate Spanish playmaker. He leaned entirely into what made the kid unique: power, carrying, and versatility. Think about what Rogers gave Villa. He could receive the ball on the half turn under intense pressure in his own half, shrug off a Premier League midfielder, and instantly transition the team from defense to attack in 3 seconds flat. He could play off the left, drift into the 10 space, or power past the striker to lead the press. And the tactical maturation under Emery was night and day. He stopped running blind alleys. He learned when to release the ball, when to draw a foul, and how to time his late arriving runs into the box with surgical precision. By the 2024-25 season, Rogers wasn't just a squad rotation player. he was an absolute fixture. He dragged Villa into the top 4 conversation, played a starring role in their historic European campaigns, and swept up the PFA Young Player of the Year award, from a £15 million gamble to the crown jewel of the second city. But the story didn't stop in claret and blue. When you perform at that level in a high-octane Villa side, England come calling. Under Thomas Tuchel, the England setup was undergoing a ruthless, meritocratic reboot. Tuchel isn't a manager who picks players based on their media profile or how many followers they have on Instagram. He looks for tactical adaptability, physical intensity, and the mental resilience to execute under pressure. Rodgers ticked every single box. He earned his senior international call-up during the 2025-26 qualifiers and quickly established himself as a trusted weapon in Tuchel's tactical arsenal. Then came the ultimate stage, the 2026 World Cup in North America. When England needed fresh legs and direct verticality off the bench, Tuchel turned to Rodgers. He made his major tournament debut as a substitute in the 4-2 group stage win over Croatia. And on the biggest, most terrifying night of the tournament, the World Cup semi-final against Argentina in Atlanta, when England were fighting for their lives, it was Morgan Rodgers who provided the crucial assist for Anthony Gordon's opener. In the space of 2 years, Rodgers had gone from fighting for a lone spot in League One to turning the tide of a World Cup semi-final. And when a player starts doing that on the global stage, the sharks in the transfer market smell blood in the water. Which brings us to the summer of 2026. Chelsea Football Club, operating under their latest ambitious strategic cycle, decided they needed a seismic upgrade to their front line. Spearheaded by incoming tactical mastermind Xabi Alonso and fueled by a war chest built on shrewd player sales, the Blues locked onto one primary target. Aston Villa dug their heels in. They didn't want to sell. But when a bidding war erupted, with Arsenal also circling like hawks, Chelsea didn't blink. £117 million, let that number sink in. £117 million. For a player they signed from the Championship for £15 million just 24 months prior. It's one of the most profitable player valuations in football history. So why did Chelsea break the bank for him? First, the Xabi Alonso factor. Alonso's tactical blueprint demands intensity, lightning-fast vertical transitions, and athletic monsters who can press and carry the ball through congested central zones. Rodgers is the physical embodiment of that philosophy. Second, the Cole Palmer reunion. The football gods love a narrative, and reuniting Rodgers with his old Manchester City youth teammate Cole Palmer gives Chelsea a terrifying telepathic axis in the final third the pure physical ceiling. Chelsea's recruitment team evaluated the market and realized that elite, power-carrying attacking midfielders who can bully Premier League center-backs while retaining technical elegance are rarer than dinosaur teeth. They weren't just buying stats. They were buying a physical profile that simply doesn't exist anywhere else. So, how do we sum up the Morgan Rodgers phenomenon? If you look at the raw numbers from his final stellar season at Villa Park, 14 goals and 12 assists across all competitions, 31 goals in 125 games total, a Europa League winner's medal, and a PFA Young Player of the Year trophy, you start to see the outline of the answer. Morgan Rodgers wasn't born a £117 million superstar. He was built. He was built through the quiet grind of lower league loan spells. He was built through Michael Carrick's ruthless tactical laboratory at Middlesbrough. He was built by Unai Emery's genius in the second city. And he was pressure-tested on the grandest stage of all under Thomas Tuchel at the World Cup. It's the ultimate antidote to modern football's obsession with instant gratification. Sometimes, a player doesn't need to be anointed as the next global icon at 17. Sometimes they just need time, the right manager, and a terrifying amount of raw power to figure it all out. Now, over to you, lads. Is Morgan Rodgers genuinely worth a British record-breaking £117 million, or has Chelsea's transfer department lost their collective minds completely? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button, and I'll see you next week.